Hi guys, I know this isn't a typical video that I'm going to film, but since it's Halloween time, I thought of a cool idea where I would do a scary story that I've heard or I know that someone else has experienced, kind of leading up to Halloween, just because the atmosphere and the time period is just such a fun, spooky time. There have been quite a few things that have happened in my life and other people's lives that I really would just like to talk about because it's just something that's so interesting to me, and I believe in all the spiritual world and that aspect. I'm also a strong believer in God, so I'm not really scared of anything, but I have heard stories that if I were in those positions, I would probably be really frightened. Some things that are just like so creepy that I sometimes can't believe, but I know that they do happen and I know that they're real. A lot of my close family members have been through things that are really unexplainable, and I know that they're real and that they do happen because things have happened to me, not as often as they do other people. I know a lot of times people are followed or a lot of paranormal things happen in their lives. Not so much me. I have experienced some things that have been paranormal. I know a lot of people watch my fiance, Jake Dufner. He does a lot of scary stuff, a lot of paranormal things. He's done the Ouija board, all of that kind of stuff. I don't really encourage any of that now for him to do because I've been such a strong believer in God that I just really don't, I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't want him to do it. I think it's not good. I believe it works, and that's why I think that I don't want him to do it. I really just have heard some things and experienced some things that are so super crazy and scary that I just wanted to talk about some of them with you, especially because of the season and Halloween coming up so quickly. It's already halfway through October almost. It's insane. So I wish I'd thought of this earlier. I could have done like a countdown every day, 30 days of Halloween type of thing, which I'm gonna keep in mind because I might be able to do that next year. However, today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that happened a long time ago. I was in this house when I was a young girl in the area that I'm from, somewhere in New Jersey. I'm not gonna like give you the street and the details and everything, but there was this house I was growing up in that everyone always felt so strange in. It was just like a really bad vibe. I was so young that I can't remember a lot of things that happened in the house, but I do recall one thing that happened, and the reason I think about it and I know about it and I know that it happened is because it was something that was so scary and something that I could never forget, basically. No matter how old I was, it was just something that was gonna stick with me forever. Honestly, I was probably like 2 or 3, a really young age, and like I said, anybody in the house knew that there was something scary, there was something weird about it. There was just my sister, she's 2 years older than me, and I tell her this story all the time. She knows that it's true as well because even though she was young, she was only 2 years older than me, she remembers exactly what happened as well. We know that, and everybody knew that in this house there was something that was not right, scary. It just was this overall bad feeling, a really bad feeling when you went in. I only lived there for a short period of time, but my family had lived there long before me, before I was born, and I heard stories from them growing up that they had never told me when I was a young girl, obviously because I would probably get scared and I wouldn't want to be there because when you're young, you're scared of that kind of thing. I mean, I'm still scared now, but I know nothing bad's gonna happen to me because I have God on my side. But when you're young, you don't know that, and I would have been scared to be where I was at if I didn't know that, and I wouldn't want to go to sleep. You know, when you're younger, you want to sleep with your parents, or you're too scared to go to bed in the dark, things like that. When I got older, when I grew up, I heard a lot of things that I was like, wow, like that makes sense now. This happened, that happened. And this house was just like very creepy. You could just feel that it was just something wasn't right about it. Something happened. And I haven't looked into the backstory. I mean, I should actually text my mom and dad and say like, hey, do you know like what happened before we lived in this house? But I'll get into the story now of what actually happened. So one night I'm getting put to bed. I'm getting ready to go to sleep, My parents are in the room. They're like, okay, good night. Tell me a story, something like that, something good. And they turn out the lights and shut the door. And at this time, me and my sister shared a room. We always shared a room growing up, so we kind of experienced everything together. And we shared a house with a lot of people, our whole entire family. That's how we grew up. We were all very, very close. We were in a house that was big, and we kind of made rooms out of like the basement, the attic. It was kind of like one of those bi-level houses that were like 2 family homes. My family, my mom, my dad, me and my sister, my grandparents and my aunts and my uncles, we all kind of share the same house. Growing up, we were all very close, and me and my sister, we had to share a room because I mean, there wasn't that much room for everybody, so, but we liked it because getting older, we're like, you know what, well, we don't mind it because we always wanted someone to sleep with. We liked having that companionship, especially since we're sisters, so like now we're like the best of friends. So we're getting tucked in to go to sleep and getting ready to go to bed, and my sister's in her bed and I'm in my bed, and we just like had this really, really bad feeling, like something wasn't right, something's wrong. It's scary, it's eerie. We're in the dark. We had like a little night light plugged into the wall just because we couldn't be in the dark. We were too scared, especially in that house now that I know why. So somehow I told her, okay, come into my bed because I'm so scared. We're laying in bed and we have a mirror hanging up on the wall, and we both like see something, like something quick go by, and it's like a dark shadow, and we're both in bed, so we're like, what the heck was that? We're like, this is so creepy, so scary. We're freaking out. We're like, we got our heads under the covers. We're just hearing like all these little noises. It's so weird, so strange. We're laying there, something comes over, and I swear it touched my arm. At this point, we start freaking out. I'm like, Jessica, Jessica. So we start screaming. My parents come in the room. They're like, what's going on? What's going on? There's nothing there. Like, there's nothing there. What are we gonna say? Oh, there's a ghost. Like, they're obviously not gonna believe us. We tell them anyway, like, something's here. It's something scary. Something touched Ashley's arm, my arm. And they're like, no, like, it's fine. You're just having a bad dream or whatever it was. You're just scared. It's okay. It's fine. They ended up coming in our room, and they're laying with us until we fall asleep because we were just so scared and freaked out. We had both seen whatever went by the mirror, a dark shadow. I know this sounds crazy, it sounds stupid, but it was real because something then touched my arm and I was like, oh, hell no. Anyway, this happened when I was a young girl. Come to find out, I move out of the house. You know, little things here and there would happen that we would pick up on it because we knew it was happening, but we'd like say, oh, this or that must have happened. It wasn't that, because we were just so scared of it and we didn't want to believe it. Years later, we move out of that house. I'm very good friends with my family now still, and we really like scary movies and everything like that. So my uncle comes over a lot and he'll talk to us, and he lived in that house with us. He comes over a lot. We watch scary movies together. We're all into that stuff. We like it a lot. And it's weird because we've been through things like that, so we're like fans of it. Me and Jake have a lot of things that are spooky. Like, our house is all set for Halloween. We like it. And so he came over and he talked to us one day, and we're like, yeah. And I told him, like, when I was a little girl, like, I hated the house, and he's like, yeah, me too. Not that he says he doesn't hate it because he thinks it's cool and all that stuff. He didn't hate it, but he knew what I meant when I said that, like, yeah, there was definitely something wrong with that house. He told me that one night he was in his room and a little girl came up to him, didn't talk or anything, just came up to him and looked so lost, so scared, and then was gone. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he even said when we would be downstairs in the living room, they would hear little footsteps upstairs in the attic. And I was like, and I'm like, all this time I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew that actually happened to me, where I was holding on to the covers outside and they touched my hand, my arm, my hand, whatever it was, like right here. I was like, thank you for confirming and knowing that me and my sister are not crazy, that we know that that happened. Dude, it was the scariest thing that has ever happened to me in my whole life. I did a few videos with Jake. I've done the human Ouija board, all that kind of stuff, which I'll also talk to you guys about that because it wasn't on my channel that I did them. But that was the scariest, and I only remember it because of how scary it was, because I was a young girl and it literally scarred me. It's the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. A lot of times when I'm out, I don't mess with the dark. I'm not a fan of the dark. I hate the dark. That's why, because when I turn the lights off and I'm by myself, I'm creeped out. I know that stuff is real, and I don't want that to happen to me again, because it was one of the scariest things I've ever been through. If you guys want, you can send me in through messages. You can follow my Instagram. It's Ashley App. Send me some DMs of scary stories. I'm gonna post a picture tonight, and I want to read some of your stories. I want to hear some of your stories, and I think it's really cool that we're doing it this time, like the Halloween time. I swear that was the scariest thing that has ever happened to me. I'll never forget it. It really was so scary. A lot of other things have happened though in my family, and I'd like to tell you guys all about them too. So if you want, you can check back in, can get spooked with me. Do not watch these videos in the dark or while you're home alone, because you will be so scared you won't be able to go to sleep. Thank you for watching this video. Send me your stories so that we can share with each other for the next month some really creepy stuff. Thank you guys for watching.